Big stuffed lobsters. These are our victims. We've got 11 pound-and-a-half lobsters, although they're not moving around too much. There you go. There he's waving at us. Obviously, they should be alive when you start. So those are the victims. Okay, the stuffing for the baked stuffed lobsters requires 2 sticks of melted butter, 2 sleeves of toasted butter crisps, and 2 sleeves of Ritz crackers. Dump all the crackers into a bag, a Ziploc bag, and then crush them with a rolling pin. And then mix that all together with the 2 sticks of melted butter and a couple of squirts of lemon juice. This will make the stuffing for the lobsters. So now we're preparing the lobsters. So we're taking them from this state with all the legs and claws and tentacles and little fins back here to this state with all the tentacles removed, the big claws taken off, all the little legs cut off, all the little fins cut off, like that. I'm putting all those parts in a pot and we will cook them separately. It's good to have a helper, so I've got my trusty little helper here, number 34. He's cutting all the little legs off and the tentacles. And they are feisty little buggers, so they keep flopping around. You will expect to get some nicks and gashes in your fingers from all the crusty, sharp parts of the lobsters. So once he's... Hold up one, Harry, that you haven't got everything off of and show him that first. So that one's got all its legs still on it, the little flippers. Now hold up one of the ones over here that you got all done. Then it looks like that. Now hold up one of the ones in there. And then I will clean out all the insides and slice it down the middle and take out all the guts and stuff that's in there. Not the most appetizing part of the process, but that's how they end up looking before we stuff them. Okay, this is how you clean out the guts and everything from inside the lobster. He is still alive, and every once in a while he'll start flopping around here. There he goes. But basically right down the middle, slice it down all the way to the tail, and all the way up to the head. I know my vegetarian and animal loving friends may not like this part, but basically just break it down the back, and then you're trying to take out all this goop. You can grab right here, there's like little teeth, and this whole front unit comes out at once. The rest of the stuff's kind of gross. You just kind of push it out. There's a couple little tendons right here that you can push with your thumb and kind of break. They get tangled up with your fingers and getting the goop out of there if you don't. So trying to push and pull out all these any veins. Similar to a shrimp, there's usually one vein that goes kind of up the tail. Usually let the water run and wash out any loose goop. Right in here there's a couple little, I don't know what they are. Lots of sharp pieces, so be careful. You'll nick up your fingers. I try to get all that ugly, gross green goop out of there. And I think we might have it all there, nice and clean. And then just lay them out on a tray like this. These two I did a little differently. See, I took all the arms and that stuff out. These will be more what they call lazy man lobsters. It leaves you a lot more room for stuffing and other parts. But all the rest we left them in. There is a little bit of meat in here, but once it's cooked, it's tough to get a lot out of that. The legs I took out of here, I did throw in our pot over here with the claws. And we'll cook that and pick out what we can for stuffing. Thank you, and we'll move on. These are all the legs and claws in a pot. It's got about 2 inches of water in it. And we just turned on the heat. I'm going to boil those. They don't have to be fully cooked, but just partially cooked enough that they pull away from the claws. It makes it easier to get the meat out. And then we'll take all the meat out of all those parts and use it for stuffing inside the lobsters. So the claws have been boiling for about 15 minutes. I think they look pretty much done. So I think we'll shut that off and let them cool off, and then we'll take the meat out of all those shells. So we've got all these claws that we cooked separately. Now we have to get the meat out of them. I usually break off the knuckle, do that piece separately. Same with this little piece. Usually you can pull that out and leave the little piece of meat attached. Sometimes it'll break off and get stuck in there, but you can pull it out. These are easier if you crack them with a nut cracker. And then usually you can break them apart. Try not to get the shells in there. Also a pair of kitchen scissors usually will help get to the inside. But usually you can take out that whole piece as one. There is inside here, this little unit helps to take that out. Won't hurt anybody, they usually won't eat it, but it's a little bit more pleasing to do that. The knuckles, challenging to get the meat out. Also very sharp. Usually if you break them apart in a number of places with the nutcracker, sometimes you get lucky and it will pull right out, but not today. So cutting the shells a bit so that you can open it up, take out the meat that way. Similarly on this piece. And we'll get back to you on the next step. So now we're ready to stuff the lobsters. We've got the lobsters all ready. We've got the stuffing, all the claw meat that we shelled earlier. We've got some raw shrimp and some raw scallops. And basically we just do each one. We put in some stuffing into the bottom. And then we add 2 claws. Put those in there. I usually put in 2 scallops. And, you guessed it, 2 shrimp. And then some more stuffing. Just kind of filling in all the gaps. And that one is ready to go.
Ta-da!
You can stop. So it's time to bake them. We've covered each lobster with a big romaine leaf. Will help keep them moist and from getting too crusty on top as they cook. So we've got 2 trays in, cooking it at 375 on convection. And I'm guessing it'll take a half hour, 35 minutes, but we'll keep you posted. Here they go. So 40 minutes, we just took them out, took the lettuce off, and that's them, they are done.